What's up YouTube? I am your host, Anything Billy. Today we're going to be putting front brakes and rotors and rear brakes on this 2013 Chevrolet Equinox. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do before any brake job is you want to take the brake reservoir cap off and put a rag over it. That way when you squeeze in the caliper pistons, the air has the easier way to escape because it'll go up. And if there's any extra fluid in there that you couldn't get out or it's over before you didn't know it, the rag is there to absorb the brake fluid. So the tools you'll need for this brake job is you will need a 14 millimeter, which will fit the caliper bracket or the caliper bolts on the front and the rear. You'll need a T30 because there is a star bit bolt right here. The best thing to do is, I've already done it, is to break it loose before you take everything apart. That way you can have somebody to hold the brake. Or just pop it real hard, because if you take it apart, you won't have nowhere to clamp it on. You'll need a 18 millimeter for the caliper bracket bolts for the front, possible lube for the slides. Now this thing ain't got but like 78,000 miles on it, so it may not need any, probably ain't gonna rust or anything. If I can find the rest of my tools here. You'll need some type of piston compression tool. It don't matter what you use, you can use this, big C-clamp or whatever. And like always, no job is complete without Mr. Hand. Alright, so we will get started here. I would probably, the first thing I would do is I would definitely take this bolt out right here. It's just easy to go and get it out of the way. That way everything together. You ain't got to worry about trying to hold this in place or anything like that. See, it's pretty new, not rusted too bad. And after that, we'll just start taking it apart. Y'all seen it 100,000 times. I repeat myself, but you know, I don't know if you're the first person that's ever seen this video or first time ever changing brakes. But just watch me, take notes. If there's a problem, I'll stop. Otherwise, it's just going to be straightforward front brakes and rotors and rear brakes. And oh yeah, and he did get the standard brake, so I will not be changing hardware on this application. So here we go. Consider this is metal to metal. This piston is a little harder to get in to start with, but that's because it's out so far. The further it's out, the harder it is to get started, but it should smoothen up once you get it started back in there. That's it. Yep, it's good and tight. That to the side. The good thing about some of these vehicles is it's got this dust shield right here, and a lot of them's metal, hangs over like that. That way you can set stuff on there. So when you beat this off, your caliper won't come flying on the ground. Oh yeah, a straight handle screwdriver also helps as well. These fine, see they feel fine. You don't have to break them loose. I wouldn't. Next time he gets brake jumps, next time he gets brakes, he'll probably have to have that replaced. So now we want to take these bracket bolts off. You will need your hammer for this. Like I said in the past, most of the time the dealership or the manufacturer will put Loctite on them from the factory. I ain't took a Chevrolet apart yet, but I ain't seen some type of Loctite or something on there. So I guess they don't think you're supposed to take them off. I don't know. It's okay. That's why they're so hard to get off sometimes. See right there? That is, I don't know if you can see that, it's probably in focus. But there's a little bit of orange stuff right there. That's locked out from the factory. So when you start taking these apart and they're rough coming out, that's why it's normal. See, that one's got even more on it. So we're gonna have to knock this off with a hammer. Move my foot out of the way. There we go. Make sure you line up. See that extra hole right there? Make sure we line it up to where the screw goes. That way we can put the screw back in there. You know how many times that I've not lined it up and forgot about it. And that also helps us keep the rotor from moving when we're putting the back together. Alright, get in there. Come on. Get started left-handed. Come on. Sometimes they're touchy. Okay, well, I thought I had it. Let's go ahead and tighten this up. That way we don't forget it, because I'm make sure you got your ratchet on forward, not reverse. I just snug it up, don't over tighten it, because if you break that off in there, you're just SOL. Alright, so I think I missed this earlier, but I've already washed these off camera. Why we want to rinse them off and brake clean, because when they come from the factory, if y'all don't know, they got oil on them. So you want to get that oil off of them, so your oil don't get on your brake pads, and you get hot spots on your brand new rotors. I mean, regardless, they're going to smell a little bit, but this had a little bit of rust on it too, or it might have been over extra stuff, oil on it, but you want to get them off to make sure that you don't get that on the brake pads. You just put this back together in reverse order. Like I said, the bolts are going to be hard to get in, so to make sure you don't force them in. You don't want to cross thread them, but they will be a little bit harder to get in. Now as you take them on and off over time, all that will wear off. I wouldn't suggest putting them back on there. I mean, it's just something that they do at the factory, at the manufacturer. Always get them both started before you torque them down or tighten them down. Always like to take a hammer and kind of, it ain't gonna hurt nothing, they gotta be a little tight. Alright, there's that, that's good, that's good. Now when you get these brake pads, you'll have one that has nothing on it, and then you'll have one with the squealer, like that. So make sure you put a squealer on each side. You can either put it on the front or back, it doesn't matter. I always like to put them on the back. That's just how I've always done it. I used to put lubrication here on the pad itself, but that's what that, back in the day they didn't have this piece on there. That's what that piece is for, is the anti-squeal. Try to keep them from squealing after you go down the road and hit the brakes, and they get a bunch of brake dust on them. So while I'm putting this mat together, for some of y'all that's watched my videos, y'all been leaving some comments. If you ever have any questions about anything, if I can answer them, I will give you an answer. If we need to have a deep discussion about something, you know, I'll try to find the answer to it. But Like I had a question, I had a thing the other day that asked me, like, why don't you put any grease on the threads? Well, I haven't got back to them yet. The reason why you don't do that is when you go to torque them, you've got that stuff on there and it won't torque, because it'll pretty much like slide the threads. It won't torque like it's supposed to. So let's just say that you had a bolt like the, I may have to go get a pair of pliers, but say this is supposed to be torqued at 100 foot-pounds, all right? You put the anti-seize or oil or grease on it, and you torque that thing to 100, you may only torque it at like 90 or 85. I don't really know specifics, but it won't torque all the way because you're just sitting there spinning. That's why you don't put any grease on it. I'm gonna have to hold that still because that's moving. And I gotta tighten up, so I'm gonna go grab a pair of pliers and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I mean, you can use the size wrench if you need to, or you can just use a pair of pliers. I like this set of pliers. And you just gotta hold it enough to tighten it down. There we go, just a little bit. And that's it. I mean, I guess it does look a little simple, but you know, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it can be complicated. But I normally ask at the end of the video, but I think I'm gonna ask today, change it up a little bit. If you do enjoy watching these videos, these brake job videos, please hit that like button, that subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. I post them when I can. I got a lot on the channel. I got 2 channels. If you ever see this on one channel, you know, there is some on the other channel. But if you haven't done so, please subscribe, leave a comment, thumbs up. All right, the passenger side's done. I'm gonna put me a new glove on. We'll move on to the driver's side. All right, here we are over here on the driver's side. It's just like the passenger side. Take the Torx bit out, take everything apart, put everything back together. If I run into any issue, I'll let you know. Otherwise, just sit back, relax, watch what I'm doing, enjoy the music. Here we go. Oh yeah. Let me cut in here. I don't know if I've explained this before or if I haven't. I don't remember. But normally, see, this rotor is not messed up. But normally, you want to, whatever you replace on this side or the other side, you want to do the opposite on the other side. Why? Is since that's a new rotor over there, the brakes are going to grab that. Over here, it's not a brand new surface. So you'll have the car to grab that side, which could pull to one side, whichever side's the new one. That's why I've always said replace both. Now, calipers, if you can afford it, I would do both, but sometimes you can't because they can get a couple $100 a piece. But, you know, same thing with these. If you got new stuff on this side, old stuff on that side, this stuff's going to work better and that stuff's going to wear out. So eventually, like say you replace the whole driver's side brake line set and this side's new, that side's got rust. Well, the fluid is going to find the weakest place like everything else to find. So it may put a hole somewhere in a line. So that's why when you do one side, do exactly the other side the same way. Same way with tires. If you buy tires, best thing to do is with all these new vehicles with wheel speed sensors and ABS stuff. Normally, if you place one side tire, do another side tire. I mean, unless you got like a blowout or say that tire is like 3/4 of the way new and then this side is like a flat tire or wore out or punctured, and that's a little different. But if it's 50% or less, I would go and replace both. That way, everything, all these electrical components does better. And plus, if you got an all-wheel drive car, always make sure you use the same brand. And normally you want to keep them rotated and replace all 4. Because I've had incidents on another shop where we had one of those Mercury Mountaineers where it was all-wheel drive. We put tires on it. The guy drove it, and within 3 weeks we put 3 different rear ends in it, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So on the last option, the guy's like, "Go put 4 brand new tires on it." Same tires, everything. When he done that, fix the problem. That's just something to keep in mind. I mean, I know sometimes you can't, but if you do got an all-wheel drive car and you don't rotate them and you got to replace 2 front ones and not the rear, make sure you try to at least get the same brand. That way, it'll try to help that problem. And then when you get new tires, put the old ones on the front, new ones on the back. That way you can keep them rotated. That way you can keep changing them out. That's just what I do. All right, back to work. All right, there's the driver's side done. So now that we got the front brakes and rotors finished, let's move on to the back. All right, so we've made it back here to the back pad. Sorry about the lighting for some odd reason. When I'm on the driver's side, I have no lighting, got a wall behind me. But this should be just a simple replace the brakes. Shouldn't really need anything. You may have to hold the pin still, but otherwise it's just as simple as taking it apart. You really don't have to take both bolts loose. Just take the one loose. Dusty. Take your tool here. Go slow. I mean, these things were paper thin, but they didn't get the rotors, which is a good thing. Very slowly stick it in there, like so. Yep. Grab your screwdriver and take the pad out. Be careful not to scratch the rotor. I mean, them are paper thin, man. You gotta watch out because we're not replacing the hardware on the back ones either, so that's good, that's good. Just like the front brakes, one come with a squiller and one didn't, so however you do it, if you're gonna put the squiller in the back, you can. You put the squiller in the front, you can. I always like going in the back. That's just how I've always done it. Slide into place. Pull this back down. Hold it with the pliers. Never assume it's tight. Nope. Always make sure you use something to hold it. Alright. We never took the top one loose, so we'll leave it alone. Alright, there's that. Now let's move on over to the passenger side. Alright, we're over here on the passenger side rear. Over here I have lighting. Oh, there it is. Same thing, then we're good. That's good. So while I'm taking this apart, I got a question to ask y'all. I have not figured it out yet. I haven't even looked it up. But can anybody know, or anybody tell me, the more expensive the brakes you buy, the more they smell like fish? I don't understand. Like when you buy the gold pans and you get them in here and take them apart, they smell like fish. Why? Is it because of how they ship them so they don't rust? I have no idea. They just smell like fish. I don't know. No, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I'm like everybody else there. Everybody likes a little seafood, but you know, I'm not gonna. That would hurt your teeth. So if anybody knows, or if anybody can tell me where to find out, leave it down in the comment section. I would appreciate it. All right. Grab this and hold it. All right, that's the back brakes. Only thing left to do is put the wheels and tires on it and take it for a test drive. And the last thing you want to do before you take a first test drive is make sure you put the brake reservoir cap on and make sure the reservoir is full of fluid, especially if you've done a full wheel brake job. All right, welcome back to this test drive on this 2013 Chevy Equinox. So the first thing you want to do is you want to wash up, get all the grease and grime and oil and stuff off of you. Second thing you want to do is you want to pump the brakes up. Just go third of the way down, don't go all the way down, and just give them good tight pedal. So the reason why you don't want to go all the way down is when you drive and you change brakes regularly, the little piston pole that goes in and pushes, it only goes in a certain way, so the rest of that may be rusted, have trash or dirt on it. So when you slam on the brakes, when you push down real hard and that rod goes all the way through, so now what you're doing is you're letting debris and everything else get inside the brake system, and you don't want that. So once you get the brakes good and stiff, buckle up for safety, and let's start the car. After you start the car, you want to pat the brakes a few more times just to get them good and pumped up. Now this thing sat overnight, so I already let it warm up a little bit. So let's put it in reverse and let's back out of the garage. Well, we didn't put the parking brake on because we didn't rear brakes too, so here we go. For some odd reason, these new brakes and rotors, they make a scrubbing sound until they get wore in good, so you may hear that when you ain't got no radio or backing it out, so don't be alarmed. By the time we get through with the test drive, they should be good. So hit the brakes a few times in the parking lot, then we'll go. And like always on these test drives, we're going to listen to see if we hear any squeaking, any squeals. We're going to see if we feel any vibration, see if there's any smoke, anything like that. Make sure we got everything tight the way it needs to be. Like I said, you will hear a little bit of noise from the brakes because of their new rotors. I don't know why they do that, but they just do. But probably by the time we get done with the test drive, all that should be go away. Shouldn't be hearing that no more. So far so good, don't we? Feel any vibrations in the steering wheel or in the pedal? I ain't heard no squeaks, no squeals. She's pretty smooth. I know I've probably said this many times, but you know, if you are test driving the vehicle, if you own a garage, which 90% of y'all will probably do it yourself in the backyard, just notate any extra noises or any vibration you feel. And if you are doing it in your backyard, just make sure you do take it up the road a mile or two and back to test the brakes. Don't just hop in it and say, I'm ready to go, and don't even test them, because you might get a couple miles down the road, 10, 15, and you hit the brakes and you don't have it. So I've heard that before too. So it is very important that you do test drive it a couple miles before you either give it back to the customer or before you go on a road trip. See, when I stopped that time, I didn't hear that grinding noise no more. It was just had to get the new brakes and new rotors set in. So as I turn here on the road to Chomps On, like always, I want to thank everybody for watching this video. Thanking everybody for hanging out with me today. And if you did like this video, check out this video here on the screen of some more brake jobs. And until next time, bye now.